control. Are we playing this game? Oh, are we playing this game? Are you too afraid, or are you giving in? Let the games begin, 'cause I play to win. Are we playing this game? smile on our face. We work hard, we play harder, we push it to the limit, going farther and farther. We work hard, we play harder, we push it to the limit, going farther and farther. Grind all day, we dance all night. We're body freaks of nature, we're body freaks, body freaks. Grind all day, we dance all night. We're body freaks of nature.
Hello and welcome to the final week of the NSE Summer Playoffs. It will all end today. We've got two series, a best of 7, the losers final between DMU Foxes and UOB Bottlers to see who will be facing Lincoln in the grand final of the tournament. But just before we get that losers final underway, just want to say hello to Saib, who I am of course joined with.
Yeah, hello. It's gonna be a pretty interesting matchup. We have had this matchup before in the upper semifinals. We're gonna have the DMU Foxes taking on the UOB Bottlers. Now, as I said last time they played, DMU Foxes did win that 4-2, so they'd be coming into this as favorites, but they have just come off a loss last week against Lincoln in the upper bracket, whereas UOB have got that the more recent victory against Lancashire, so it's a possibility for maybe an upset perhaps.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can have at least some good games, even if sort of you expect maybe DMU would do well coming from that upper bracket, but then you have UOB, who have obviously they've come off of a victory in the lower bracket, so you may be thinking that they're going to be feeling good about themselves coming into this. We should be getting underway now. We just have the test lobby all finished up, I believe. No complaints from the players. So
No,
hopefully
they won the Manfield though. That was their one thing.
yeah, that was the one thing we were discussing what map we were going to go on. It was going to be Beckwith Park Midnight, but some of the players don't like dark maps, and then we said Beckwith Day, and then it was like, oh, if we're going for a bright map, should we go Manfield? And we eventually, we came to the conclusion that Manfield would be best. So we should, I'm pretty sure I put it on Manfield at least. If I didn't, then I'm in trouble. No, I put it on Manfield. Good.
You have put it on Manfield, but yeah, one of them apparently has gone to the bathroom, so there might be just another minute of delay there. But I mean, yeah, we've all had the whole NSE of summer now. We only have this lower final and a grand final left. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Usually the summer section of NSE is a bit lower level than the rest, but you still get that prize pool for second, and you still get that those NSE jerseys if you win. You get your own NSE jerseys from your university that you're representing. So still got some things to win in this tournament.
Yeah, it's certainly one you're going to want to win. It's going to be a long grand final, best of 9 with the game in hand for Lincoln. Obviously, you've got to stick around for that one. It's going to be a long and tough battle, but for now, UOB versus DMU. Obviously, it should be a close match. Obviously, last time they fought each other, it was 4-2 in the upper bracket. We can argue maybe it's a bit of a higher tension. At this point, it's a rematch. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go. Both teams, it's their first series of the day. They're both going to be sort of slightly worried about how things are going to go. Do you have any predictions for this side on how this might play out?
My prediction, yeah, okay. It's quite an interesting one because as I said earlier, they have played before, and we've seen UOB kind of battle in the lower bracket, and from what I've seen, they look like they're capable of one, keeping this competitive, and two, if they're able to actually score more of their opportunities, make this like they could actually win it. But from what I've seen in the lower bracket, I don't quite think they have just quite what it takes. They'll get close, but I think it won't be enough to beat the DMU Foxes.
Well, we will see as Madge going for something here, just about prevented there by Autoexec. It looked a little bit awkward on the backboard, but dealt with in the end. Danger still just about present, able to be cleared out in the end by Ducks. Madge. High for this one, interrupted by Bean. To the corner, Ducks able to get a strong clearance here, maybe a chance for Bean, just not with any boosts. Unable to get anything going, no early goal seemingly. As I say that, I may have just been completely wrong as Madge, as I say that, slams one into that top left corner. Just 47 seconds in. Surya was then maybe expecting a pass, but he's not needed in the end. Crossbar and down, and UOB have that first goal.
Yeah, I think Madge was kind of like expecting an early commit there from Autoexec, and then for a moment there he noticed the commit wasn't coming in yet. And then he just blazed right through the defense right after, just going full speed. And Autoexec clearly did not have the pace required here, but on the other side, Demo comes through and Ducks makes it a tie game.
Yeah, two quick goals, at least in terms of how close they were to each other. UOB, you may think, got that momentum getting that first goal, but then immediately just seemed to have lost it. Difficult to say which team has looked better so far just in this first minute. That's a bit of an unfortunate pinch, and that will actually work out for Raven. Another quick goal coming out here. It's about 20 seconds, and the first three have gone in, and Dark Shift, I think, it's going to be a little bit down that one's found its way in. I thought for maybe a moment that it was going to bounce off the post and out, but in the end, Raven will be rewarded. It's 2-1 now to UOB.
And another opportunity here as well, Bean just about able to get that away. Ducks off to Bean again, but Marge, great interception there in defense. And what we've seen from DMU in the past, in that series earlier in the upper bracket that we casted against UOB, they have looked quite capable. Of course, you've got kind of the two main mechanical players to look at, Autoexec and Ducks. They've been very, very impressive. Remember Ducks, she had quite the MVP performance in that upper bracket match, getting probably the goal of the tournament that I've seen thus far. If not, maybe, I think there was a really, really weird pinch somewhere, but definitely been very impressive. And I'm kind of expecting them to kind of lead the charge here for DMU again.
Yeah, well, certainly Ducks proved herself worthy in the last series. But I'd still say either team could really have a great opportunity here. Honestly, I think all three of Raven, Surya and Madge have proven they are forces to be reckoned with, even if we were saying Surya's name wrong for the majority of the last time we casted. That has luckily been dealt with. Madge now trying to go for something. Oh, Raven, that's a little bit of an awkward hit. B might be ready for it. Oh, couldn't quite turn around in time. Going to get the best of touches to it. So yeah, able to just 50 this off to the side, Autoexec with a little bit of an awkward touch, not really with much boost. Ducks trying to maybe pass it off to that wall. Madge. It's not only as far as B, just has to go for a 50. Still DMU trailing here as we enter sort of the last 2 minutes of play here. It's been relatively even, actually going to be trailing by 2 now as Madge finds yet another. No one on DMU able to get a touch this in the defense, and now you will be a little bit of a lifeline here in game 1.
Yeah, I have to say, deserved 2-goal lead from UOB as well, because I mean, DMU on the other side, it don't really look like the comms are quite on point here again. Autoexec Ducks going for the same ball. When you do have this kind of team where you have these two main people to look at to lead the charge for your team, if they're double committing, then that leaves the team very, very exposed, and it's shown to be the case here, but a shot from Ducks will keep them within 1.
Yeah, they're certainly keeping themselves alive here. They seem to have a response for anything UOB do, but they need to start giving their own questions to actually try and draw this one level, and then, if they can, take the lead, whether that'll be in the overtime or whether that will be in regulation. We're going to see Surya, but it's another one there. Oh my goodness, just gets the flick past the defender. And UOB just constantly able to put these past the DMU Foxes. No matter how they respond, they cannot keep the game within 1.
Yeah, it looks like DMU, they need a bit of time to respond to a goal, and then as soon as they do, UOB just come in with an instant response right back, cancelling out any momentum that DMU were gaining over time. Here, Otter just completely bumped off the play. Maj will just leave that one for Raven. We'll continue this one downfield. Bumped though. Now 1 minute remaining. DMU, they have to try something.
Yeah, well, there's 2 goals down with a minute remaining. Given how this has gone, you think UOB might be looking quite strong to take this one. DMU will be doing everything in their power to prevent that if possible. Maj now trying to get some to the middle. Ducks able to pass it off to Bean. A decent effort maybe on that. Surya's there though. A decent tap off to the side, and Raven will get that clearance. Time is slowly running out here for DMU, and first game momentum looking like it's going to be going the way of UOB.
I'll give some inside knowledge as well. Being earlier saying, as a joke, that if they had to FF a game, they would just win the series 4-1. But it looks like they'll be trailing nevertheless.
Yeah, well, certainly you maybe think that if they were that confident coming into this game, maybe they became a little bit too overconfident from their upper bracket win against the UOB Bottlers. I say that's a great shot from Ducks. Still just about in it, DMU Foxes, but I still think maybe coming into this, perhaps there's a possibility they were underestimating their opponents, expecting to have a little bit of an easier time they currently find themselves having. They're still in this here in game 1. Maybe a kick-off goal could be an opportunity to bring it back level. Ducks puts it into the middle, and maybe a chance there. Also, Exec was slightly more central, but with 10 seconds remaining, UOB looking still like the favourites to take this. Cleared out by Bean there. Ducks unable to get a touch. Also, Exec needs to get a nice touch here. Off into the backboard. Maj gets a nice clearance. Ducks might have to try and just turn for this. Keeps it up, but also Exec looks a little bit awkward. Maj will hit it on net, and I think it will go in, yes. 5-3 to UOB Bottlers, and a convincing win here in game 1.
It actually was, yeah. I mean, UOB, from what we saw from them last week against that match against Lancaster, I was not expecting this. They've really started out quick here, and they're not having to waste all their chances, which they were last week. So definitely an upgrade, I would say, for them going into this week compared to last. So good luck starting off for UOB.
Yeah, well, DMU will have to respond as quickly as they can. They were doing a decent job of trying to bring it back there. Maybe they lost themselves a little bit at the end with the 5-3, but they had to just try something as the clock hit 0 seconds. You think maybe they're going to go into this one maybe a little bit more cautiously, maybe try and tighten up the comms if possible. It's certainly not a game 1 where you think one team is just outlandishly better than the other, but it's certainly one that you think UOB definitely deserved to win. There's little denying that. DMU, they're just going to have to reevaluate themselves as they can, just make sure they remain calm, and this time maybe underestimate their opponents less.
Yeah, no, definitely. The ironic thing is that maybe UOB might have been underestimating Lancaster last week, and they kind of noticed that they were definitely struggling with scoring their opportunities after they struggled a little bit early on. And it's proven to be a potential issue for DMU thus far, but still a long series to go.
Yeah, well, it is a best of 7. You can lose a maximum of 3 games and still technically be in it. Of course, that would require a reverse sweep, but I don't think any team would like to put themselves in that position. DMU will be seeing if they can try and take one here to tie it level.
Being here, gets it over one. Machi, the only one back, gets bumped out as well. Taking a bit of time to get it forward, so Duck's already showing her mechanics early on. In game 2, should be a good look for the rest of the game. Maybe they just kind of had a mental reset trying to recover after the last game and are looking to go into this one mechanically sound.
Ducks there trying to get something going, but hit quite off far to the side there where no one happened to be. Maj didn't quite get past. Also Exec being there just about beating Raven to the ball, but touch being found by the UOB player just about. Hits that one high. Surya backs out of that one, perhaps called off by Maj into the back ball, trying to read it, couldn't quite. Surya just can't get the best of collisions with the ball. A great opportunity there for UOB to try and take the first goal, but they just couldn't quite find it.
Yeah, they couldn't quite. I mean, nobody quite going for that ball off the backboard. The shot was pretty much free. I would say probably should have been a goal for UOB early on here. Already, you can kind of still see those issues between the teammates here. Maybe a bit of miscommunication being a common trend here today for DMU, but they're still level here. A good save from Auto Exec, but they're definitely being pressured here.
Yeah, well, certainly so far in game 2 it still looked like UOB looking like the favourites to take it. Obviously it's still 0-0. Nothing happening as of yet. DMU just struggling to get it out the offensive half, but they just can't quite get an offense going themselves. I think scoring first is quite important for them here to try and regain some momentum. UOB do everything they can to try and retain it after game 1. They're doing quite well so far. You think eventually they're just going to keep applying pressure, and eventually DMU are going to make a big enough mistake that UOB are going to be able to capitalize.
Yeah, it might come. It does seem like every now and then DMU have to commit 1 or 2 on a ball that you probably don't have to. And then subsequently you do find yourself in an awkward position. Ducks could have probably scored there if they were a little bit more controlled there. Maybe going for a midfield pass. Had a lot of options, but in the end wasn't able to make use of any of them.
On the backboard here, should have a simple touch out. It's a little bit awkward there. That's was maybe hoping to jump off the backboard in time with hitting the ball, but in the end just couldn't quite stick the wheels off of the Wolves. Match has to make a little bit of save there. Not too challenging from Auto Exec, but certainly it's a bit of a pressure now being applied from DMU in the second half of this game. Auto Exec makes a little bit of a save, and that's a bit unfortunate. It wasn't a good enough clearance, and Sturgeon just charged it and managed to just about find the dunk. Auto Exec maybe wasn't expecting UOB to just completely charge at him, and in the end, it will mean UOB do find themselves in the lead.
I was talking maybe they'd be a bit more mechanically sound going into this game, but Auto Exec, the teammate was really expecting a much better touch from him. He gets a good defensive touch there, but for the previous goal, it was just kind of, he just kind of passed it straight to him. The teammate, I think it was Ducks, looking to go to the side, expecting a pass from Auto, but in the end, just kind of goes to the midfield, and the defender was just in position, looking to be just a couple tough mistakes on defense that are just leading to easy goals. He got a
my
good pass from
goodness.
Maj, but just about not able to make contact there in the midfield. I have to say, UOB, they are pummeling this defense.
Oh, yeah, I think there's another chance there as well. UOB just really throwing absolutely every card they have on the table. They are just pummeling this defensive DMU, and it is working. The amount of pressure they've been able to apply here in game 2 has resulted in that first goal. Ducks going for a solo play here. It's an absolutely incredible opportunity, and they've ended up clearing it out themselves. I can't believe that. He flicked it so brilliantly. Hit the crossbar, unfortunately, and the ball just bounces back down into her car and ends up being cleared. Another chance here, though. She will rectify the mistake. Puts that one to the top corner, and DMU now find themselves drawn level.
Hey, you say mistake. The mistake was flicking it too high. They couldn't have possibly recovered that after the bounce down there. But you know, as I say, good shot and a good pass, especially from Auto, which is already looking better. Auto has looked like very capable in some moments, but then in some other moments you're really looking at him a little bit suspect. And Maj there coming in with a shot. 40 seconds remaining, and they got the lead.
You've got to fiddle a little bit here for DMU Foxes. They put in a bit of a shift trying to get this first goal here in game 2. They finally managed to get it, and it's not been long. And UOB have struck back yet again. Finding 2-1 Maj being a bit of an offensive powerhouse so far for his team today. Whether he's the one applying it into the middle or if he's going for the shot himself. Oh my goodness, I think Ducks almost got that over with the pass. Just not able to find it though in the end. Our DMU Foxes and UOB, they're just too strong on the offense seemingly.
Yeah, you probably just didn't have to pre-jump that one from Bean, is probably what I'd say. Oh, they did get very close here. Also, it's like getting to the backboard, nobody able to make a touch. Maj on the floor will be the first one there. If Ducks was able to get a little bit more pressure there, maybe that could have been an opportunity in the end. It will just be another goal for UOB. And DMU, that just did not score their chances. They did have a fair few, but in the end, UOB were just better.
I'm not talking about how on earth that's Maj's goal. I thought Surya had got a touch to it, but in the end, no. I think Bean just ended up hitting it in for Maj. I'm fairly certain Surya would have scored it regardless. Again, just another game that you have to say. I mean, yeah, it wasn't like a dominant game from UOB, but it was certainly one that they definitely deserved to win. And, you know, I said TMU they could technically afford to lose a maximum of 3 games here, but coming into game 3, you gotta think they will be desperate to get one over here on UOB Bottlers. Otherwise, you know, reverse sweep in the losers final. You're so close to reaching the grand final. Having to reverse sweep against a team that's clearly this good, it's just not going to be an easy feat.
It's not going to be easy, but I think they know themselves that they can definitely beat them, considering they don't have to even have to base it based on how they're currently playing. They can just look at the past and say we have literally already beaten this team. So they just have to somehow find a way to get some confidence going. 'Cause as of right now, I think they're kind of mentally struggling right now.
I mean, they've proven they can beat UOB, so it's difficult to say what the difference is here in the losers final in comparison to when they faced off in the upper bracket. It could just be a combination of comms, maybe a lack of confidence after game one. But, you know, it's difficult to say because DMU Foxes, from what we've seen in this tournament, they have played exceptionally well to get this far, and they have played this team before and beaten them in a convincing fashion. UOB, maybe they're just being different gravy at the moment.
Well, convincing fashion. It was. They looked like the clear better team, as in there wasn't really any confusion about it last time. But the series is still 4-2. That is a tight affair. The problem was the games that UOB took last time were kind of when DMU were already in the lead in the series. I think DMU won 2, then UOB won 1. I think DMU won another, and then they won 1. So they never really got a tie game in the series or anything like that. It always felt like they were trailing, but this time they got their games early, and they're putting up a lot of pressure against this team now.
It's a chance there, Magic a little bit awkward to save there coming out from Raven with very little boost. I think there's a great opportunity there for DMU to try and at least get the first goal, which would mean a lot for them, sort of their mentals come into this. Again, if they concede first here in game 3, they're really going to take it, surely going to take it hard. I mean, it's not going to be anything for how they're feeling going into the rest of the game. In terms of mentality is so important in Rocket League. You can never be giving up. You can never let yourself go down mentally. You need to just keep your head held high because you're always going to be playing better if you do, and scoring first can be so vital. So that's a chance now for Bean, and just put it on. Oh, so you're just about to get back to it, and it will still be level for now.
Yeah, I'm happy Bean went for that one as early as possible as well. Going for that shot early, definitely at least threatened the defense. If he waited a little bit longer, I definitely would have noted how kind of reluctant this offense has been. But they're trying definitely to come back from this mentally. And if they get the first goal here, it'll mean a lot for them. Raven trying to clear this one out. Ducks kind of just an awkward position. I think they might have gotten bumped there, being in defense. I don't know what this preset is, by the way. Is this some custom decal?
I have to say, I can't quite tell what the decal is. I think I have seen one similar to that before, so I wouldn't say it's custom. I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. I'm assuming you're talking about auto execs at least. And I want to say here that DMU...
no, Beans, actually.
Oh, Beans.
Oh, they have the same one. They have the same one.
Oh, they do. Oh, yeah, look at that. That is confusing. Oh, well. Regardless, so you're trying to put us into the middle. DMU... I'd argue it's been a lot more even so far in game 3 in terms of the amount of offensive pressure that both teams have surmounted. Oh my goodness, a great effort there from Madge. I don't think it was quite on target in the end, and also had a clearance ready. But yeah, so far it's been a slightly more even showing from DMU. They've had their fair share of offense, whereas before it was sort of for every one DMU chance you had about 3 for UOB, who just constantly kept up pressure. This time, maybe DMU have slightly changed something up. They seem certainly more capable of getting that ball out of their offensive half and trying to get attacks going themselves. It hasn't paid off for them just yet, but it's certainly looking like a better opportunity from there.
They're definitely sitting in offense a lot more here, but here, a couple of mistakes coming in. Raven will put it into the corner. A little bit awkward there. Ducks to collect in the corner herself. Gets it over a couple here. Raven back. Trying to delay the offense from Ducks. Just about able to get that away, a little bit too awkward on Raven on the counter attack. Can they get the goal? No, Duck's able to track back.
Yeah, I mean, I think Raven you think he just could have shot it. If he just shot it at the open net, I don't think anyone from DMU could have got back to it in time. I think Raven was just too worried about losing control of the ball there that it took their time that just slightly too much, and you say it allowed Ducks to get back to it just in time. Keep her team on level here, 0-0. That's an unfortunate pinch though. Bean, oh my goodness, I was worried Bean was gonna double tap that into his own net there. Fortunately enough for DMU that doesn't happen. What a way to lose that would be. Ducks in the central there for a pass from, oh my goodness! Finally, DMU find themselves able to take the lead here in one of these games. Also Exec just hits that into the middle. No one from UOB was ready for that, and Ducks got a powerful shot into that net. DMU now having a chance to come back.
Yeah, I mean, AutoExec's figured out clearly. It's just if you find ducks, you find the goals. As now, they're 1-0 up, 40 seconds remaining. They just have to waste a little bit more time.
Yeah, well, certainly they don't have a lot of time to hold on to this. Only 30 seconds remaining. I think from the defense they've shown this game, they can certainly hold on to this. What they've got to do is not make too many errors, negate them where they can. Bean gonna hit us into the middle. And no one from DMU up there. They want to play this one safe, ensure that they can maintain this 1-goal lead if possible. So they may be trying to get one last effort into the middle. Not really anything coming of that though. Bean just air dribbling it out as far as he can. Raven now has to take this high above all things. That gets it past one. Goes to the flip reset on Ducks. Couldn't say maybe controls it. My goodness me! I thought UOB maybe had a chance there. Raven was going for something fantastical. Couldn't quite get the flip reset. So I thought maybe could have caught it. But in the end, despite the fact that Ducks was seemingly beaten out, just about enough to keep them in the lead. UOB Bottlers will have to settle for a 1-0 loss here, and the series is now 2-1.
It was a very tight affair, and I'm very impressed by the response from DMU here. UOB have kind of just been in complete control for the past 2 games, and now it was a very, very even game. And DMU, maybe if they're able to kind of use this to propel them forward, and maybe play even better going into next game.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting one to say because UOB didn't necessarily play worse that game. They just had less offense. They were really capitalizing sort of at the beginning of the series on the fact they were just constantly able to keep up a steady stream of offensive momentum. They literally just kept the ball in that orange half until something slipped through. They didn't quite have that there in Game 3. DMU was certainly a lot stronger with just getting that ball out of play, but still managing to keep it linked up, still managing to get a few passes going, and that was really what they needed to do. It was only ending up being a 1-goal game. Obviously anything could happen here in Game 3, but certainly a better showing from DMU. UOB will have to maybe change something up to see if they can respond.
Well, they'll have to see if they can turn back the tides in their favor for UOB. But for now, we're getting game number 4 underway here. Big clanging hit from Maj. Not a miss coming out. Beam with the crucial touch in defense. Gets a big clang hit as well. Ducks there in the midfield. That bounces mid as well. The shot comes in a bit wide. Maj able to get a touch there as well. Ducks in midfield. Gets it over 1. Maybe going for a bump now. Nope. Just went for another touch instead. Had no more boosts. So didn't really have any other options in the end. Maj trying to clear this one out. Met by Bean in offense. Exec as well. Trying to get another useful touch there, but in the end will not be. And Syria will just have it open now on the other side. A bit of an overextension from DMU. Ducks trying to stay close to the teammate there, but AutoExec didn't get a great touch. And Ducks, well, in the end, it looks like you were better off just go dipping the play entirely.
Yeah, well, since the kickoff there, it was just DMU just applying a lot of pressure. I think they ended up maybe getting a little bit too desperate for it. They were so comfortable in their attack there that maybe they overcommitted ever so slightly, weren't quite too careful with their rotations, didn't have a third man. In the end, UOB were able to deal with the threat well enough, and then it was all, oh my goodness, what a save there from Madge getting to keep that one out. Yeah, UOB able to deal with the pressure and just capitalise on that overextension, as you say, and it was really just an open net for Surya. Not the start DMU would have wanted, but they've certainly seemed at least promising in offense so far.
Well, it's just like, I don't really understand why it happened. From AutoExec, that kind of turn looked so aggressive unnecessarily. It's not like they were trailing and then needed a goal very quickly or else they couldn't come back. It's a tie game, just play normally. But maybe for AutoExec, playing normally is just playing hyperly aggressive. Ducks almost able to 50 that one in, but the defense just about holding on for UOB.
There's been a couple of so close moments for DMU in this series so far. I think maybe they should have had at least 1 or 2 more goals. Certainly some strong offense showing from UOB, even though I have praised their offense mostly. Their defense has been very, very strong. Certainly here in Game 4. Chance there for AutoExec, just unable to get that one on target. A little bit too high here, Raven. Maybe with an opportunity. Surya's waiting there in the offensive final third. Maybe trying to get a touch to, couldn't quite. Raven's hit wasn't on target regardless. Surya had a bit of an opportunity maybe to try and put his team 2 up, but couldn't find it. So Raven have to just put that one maybe in a dangerous place, dealt with easily in the end. Madge, strongly demoed there from Bean, to be fair to him. Ducks able to get the best of clearances. Raven. Let's just try and put some high and awkward. Gets a decent bump there on Bean. Auto Exec just having to bail him out earlier. Puts that into the middle. Just fine Madge, but Dux was there in the end to get the final dunk. And now, oh my goodness, you think maybe Auto Exec could have got a touch there, but it's still 1-0 right now for UOB despite their best efforts.
Yeah, no, I mean, the interesting thing was last time when they played against Lancaster, we already saw they were making a lot of passing plays. Problem was they weren't really scoring a lot of them, so they had to try to maybe hope to simplify their offense to see if that would work out. But no, they're playing their complete same play style this time around. They're doing those passing plays. But the difference is it's actually working. They're actually being fully effective this time around. Maybe due to not being as nervous, or maybe respecting this team a lot more. And in the end, they're just playing a lot better.
So Exec is going to get that boost strike, clears from that if he can. I think he's alone for the moment. Dux being able to get behind him now. Raven takes that off him convincingly, maybe trying to get one extra hit off the wall here. Actually takes control of it decently well, couldn't get the best hit into the middle, so you end up going for it regardless, and Bean able to get a touch to it in the end. I'm not sure the shot was quite on target, so you're seemingly going for this one alone. Dux clearing this one off to the side. Just look at this. Something that UOB have just done all series. They're just trying to keep up the pressure where they can. They're just not letting anything of this ball go out of the orange half. Chance now for Madge, actually opposite back half, maybe with a bit of a lack of boost. Ducks just clearing it only as far as Raven. Auto Exec trying to get something going here, but just a really simple touch to it in the end. Nothing coming of it. Able to take it off Madge at least. So you're able to clear it out. I think DMU are certainly going to feel a little bit annoyed at themselves, and this ends up being a 1-0 victory for UOB, especially after how they conceded that first goal. It was really just a case that they needed to play it more carefully. Oh my goodness, what a clearance from Sayer. Not quite on target, luckily enough for Ducks. And yeah, they still can't find this second goal despite their best efforts. Auto Exec, that's not the best of clearances actually, and that will give them that second goal. Auto Exec's going to be kicking himself, certainly. It surely should have been easier than that. Ducks couldn't do anything to prevent Madge from getting that touch over to the right. And UOB now have that 2-0, and with only 20 seconds remaining, DMU are going to go white-faced.
We have someone in the chat also complaining about not skipping goals, and Ducks able to get them within 40 seconds remaining. They do have a chance.
Well, yeah, I mean, at least they put it back there, but I feel like they're going to be almost... I mean, if I were in this scenario, I'd be annoyed that we'd scored at that point. Just because, I mean, they've had this entire game to try and get a first goal, and they just haven't been able to find it. In the end, that first goal that they conceded just due to them overcommitting and not playing it carefully enough in the nil scenarios really come back to bite them all the way 5 minutes later, and this Bean can get a shot off. Now it's a decent effort, but Madge in the right place at the right time to get the save. Another victory for UOB, and this one puts them on match point.
It does, and we've got a worrying sign, and maybe a telling sign for maybe this has all gone the way it has. One of the players on DMU Fox is pretty irritated with how everything's going, and pretty irritated that the UOB bottlers are not skipping their own goals there, and maybe that's one of the big problems. The mentality not on point for DMU, as they seem clearly frustrated.
Yeah, well, if you're going into a chat and complaining about goals not being skipped, that is certainly a sign that your mentality certainly isn't the greatest. Nothing in the rules about having to skip replays, as you believe. So nothing can be done about that. You're well within your right to watch a replay, should you choose. Yeah, I mean, if they're starting to get a little bit annoyed at replays, I think that's just a sign that they're getting a bit nervous at themselves. They know now at this point, 3-1. It's been a great series so far for UOB. They've showed no signs of slowing down. And really, I think at this point, DMU, they must be at least a little bit afraid because they are in the lower bracket now. They can't afford to lose another game this tournament.
And I just want to remind everyone as well, even though DMU did beat UOB in the upper bracket, in the upper semis, 4-2, I'm pretty sure that the way the bracket has looked here, that UOB actually finished second in Swiss, with DMU finishing third. So the seeding actually favored UOB from the start. Maybe they just didn't have a great upper bracket, maybe not even a great lower bracket up until this point. They're just getting into the swing of things. Ducks probably had an open net there, not able to convert. Definitely a problem for DMU. And if you don't score those and you end up losing the match, it's not gonna be looking great for you.
I mean, you can complain about not skipping replays all you like, DMU, but if you're not taking opportunities like that in this dire of a scenario at this point, then really you have nothing to complain about. 2 chances there you think really should have gone in. I think the first one was from Bean, it was past mid from Dux and just couldn't quite get it around the defense. And then Dux had seemingly a free shot to put the team into the lead and just off the post in the end for DMU. They really are going to be annoyed themselves. That's certainly not going to help their mentality because they really should be one up now here in Game 5.
They really should, and their mentality would be tested. If they win this game, it just definitely will be a testament to their commitment. Here, big pass mid, auto exec as well, another shot way too high. A great passing play, will not be rewarded with a goal yet again.
And again, it's just another shot that they really should have been capitalising on. You expect auto exec to at least put it on target. Shot just a bit too high off the crossbar in the end, and DMU, they have absolutely peppered the goal with shots so far here in Game 5, but they just can't actually put it on. They've sort of had a heat map around the goal. They've hit the crossbar and they've hit the post. They just cannot just find those extra couple pixels to the right or to down to try and put it in. UOB have sort of gotten away with it right now, I'd say.
They have, and if they're able to get away with it even
beautiful.
more, but it won't be! You wouldn't expect this from him, but he's absolutely mechanically outplayed the entire team of UOB. Look at this. Goes to the ceiling, gets a double touch as well. Maj left stranded, not being able to do anything, and that's the way to get the lead.
Yeah, you've got to take into account the speed of basically what the recovery had to be there from being the hit, sort of hit it into the bonnet of Surrey, which resulted in going straight up and being just acclimatized to that immediately angled the car in the perfect way to boost down to it and get the touch past the last defender. It's a great goal from Bean and a really vital part of the series as well for his team, because if they were to concede first here, that really just, I'd have honestly said game, set, match, given how well UOB have played. And, you know, you'd have to have felt for DMU, they've really put on a lot of offensive pressure so far in here in Game 5. They've had a lot of chances they should have scored. Of all the chances they had, I'd argue that's the one they should have scored the least. But Bean, you really have to credit him there, a great shot in the end, and it does go in to put them in.
Yeah, Dux can't score an open, auto exec can't score a great pass. Still have to beat the defense, just have to get a good shot and you score. But, Bean does score 1v3s, so that's fine. The teammates don't matter if you got someone scoring 1v3s. And for UOB, I mean, they were just looking at the opposite side thinking, I mean, if they're just going to miss all these chances, we don't have to worry about much. If we just get that one counter-attack, we will still be able to get that win. But it looks like they're going to be facing a lot more trouble than what they maybe were expecting.
Exec to get one going now. It'll be really good here if DMU can make it 2, which they can. Also, exec hitting that into the middle, and Dux just streamlines for the ball. And that is a really, oh my god, actually I did take it back, it wasn't also to got the hit into the middle there, I believe it was Madge in the end, getting a bit unlucky, hitting that into the middle, contrary to how he maps would have wanted to hit it. Dux, in the end, just, like I say, just boosting straight towards the ball as quickly as she could, able to capitalise on that, and second goal that will be of really vital importance here for DMU. It means that their mentality is surely recovered, at least to an extent. They're playing quite strongly now, maybe trying to play to their strengths better. Chance for Surrey now to maybe bring it back within 2-1, but no, can't quite come of it. Still plenty of time for something to happen, especially from a team like UOB who have proven to be so offensively sound. But at this point, it's looking not great for them, and that might be 3-0, not quite from Dux. Another crossbar hit for DMU.
Yeah, Bean has just single-handedly revived DMU. Dux also scoring the open net this time round. Feeling a lot better now. Also looks like trying to fake out Marge, just about able to get a touch now. Bean, 50 seconds remaining, still got that 2-goal lead. Looks like UOB, they still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, the top clock is ticking down for them. They will be taking note of that. Oh, there's a great chance there. Marge's shot just not quite on. The defender was unable to get a touch to it in the end, but it didn't matter. Another woodwork hit in this game. And as the clock just, again, 30 seconds left now, UOB, despite how promising they've shown themselves to be when going for these shots and keeping up the pressure, I have been seriously doubtful, given how DMU have played so far here in Game 5, that they're going to be able to find 2.
Yeah, I don't see it here. 19 seconds remaining now. Ball goes into the corner. Play a little bit slow here, and a good 50 from Dux, and when the ball goes backwards from there, that's pretty much where you have to give up hope here. Maybe you'll get a last second chance here. Goes a bit wide, Dux gets it away as well. And DMU, they keep themselves alive in the series.
Yeah, they've certainly shown that they may have been down, but they're certainly not out. They really played to their strengths there in that game. They had a few opportunities that I had to feel bad for them, and that I feel like they really should have done a little bit better. They had to blame themselves for not putting the first couple of shots into the back of the net, but then they did play well for the rest of the series. They didn't let the beginning get them down, because I think some players, would have thought, oh my goodness, it's just not meant to be if you're not scoring attempts like those when you're 3-1 down. But in the end, they just kept their heads high, they kept playing, and Bean was vital to that, obviously getting that first goal to put them into the lead, and then Ducks able to score that practically open net after the unfortunate pass mid by UOB. They've kept themselves in it now. UOB obviously still on match point. DMU still need to find 2 to try and take the series, but a much better showing from them has to be said.
And this is an interesting matchup as well. I feel like this is kind of a oh my! Instantly, 9 seconds in, auto exec instantly gets the dunk on the goal line, I believe here. A good pass from Bean to beat one on the defense here, and Surya just completely beaten there, just 50'd into their nets, and now DMU, they're really rolling with the momentum.
Yeah, they've just maintained that momentum immediately off the start here of Game 6. I thought there was a chance then for UOB to immediately respond, but nothing coming of it in the end. Surya gets this high, maybe tried to get it over to Raven, but not able to find that in the end. Auto exec just hitting that into the middle. Bean is committed for it. Madge able to get a 50 off to the side here. UOB looking to respond as quickly as possible. That's like a nice little touch from Raven to take it off to the side. Completely did in some of the defense. This is Raven League right now. I think get something going now, but the solo play ended up petering out. The mechanical ability not quite there, and it will still remain 1-0 for now.
I think Raven there was just looking for the pass and maybe the pinch option, but in the end that option got demoed. It wasn't an option anymore by the time they got near them. Here auto exec now with the big clearance. Could have been potentially a mid pass, but Raven was covering it. Here ball into the midfield. Ducks almost beaten, but just about got that touch in the end. Auto off the Ducks here, back to Auto. Another shot coming through, and they're connecting now. Auto and Ducks, they can't be stopped.
UOB just can't find the same magic they saw previously in this. As soon as they found themselves just that one game away from taking this, they just haven't been able to replicate the success they've seen before, and DMU have just brought themselves back from the ashes so far. They're really just playing completely differently to UOB now, just able to apply pressure. It's almost like a role reversal with just a lot. Oh my goodness, surely not. Oh my goodness, what a clearance from Madge. It's a second clearance goal for UOB. Is that a case of an overcommit? The Ducks perhaps maybe she shouldn't have gone for the mid-pitch or something. Madge just with an absolute scorcher of a shot. It didn't even bounce there from his own half. And while DMU still find themselves in the lead, are still looking good here in game 6. That's a little bit of a lifeline there for UOB bottlers.
Bit of a lapse of concentration, I want to say as well, because you kind of look at the scoreline 2-0, you got 3 minutes. I mean, there's no real reason to sort of be that hyper-aggressive. You see your teammate going up for the challenge, you're not sure whether they could beat that person, and you still go for the mid-boost. I mean, you're kind of asking for trouble at that point. You might want to try to somehow just look for a plan to kind of maintain that lead for longer, but it looks like Ducks will do it anyways if you can score double taps like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a nice little goal there from Ducks. Madge perhaps caught slightly out, maybe was expecting a 50 from his teammate or something. He was clearly not expecting the ball to just rocket towards his own backboard. In the end, Ducks able to capitalise on that. A nice little angle, to be fair. I think maybe a lot of people would struggle to hit that so far to the left and keep it down enough. Ducks able to do it brilliantly. She has proven herself time and time again to be quite the mechanically gifted player. That is enough there to put her team 3-1 up. We might be seeing a Game 7 here in this best of 7. I think we would ask if we should go to Champions Field in that case. The players might not like it, but we'll ask regardless if it does end up going to that. Raven gets side. I get a touch to it. Bean just storms towards it. Another bit of an overcommit here from DMU though, and they've done it again to themselves when there's just not enough pressure to be warranting it. Auto exec perhaps pushing up way too far. Ducks was in the midfield. I think Auto exec maybe going for a demo or something. I'm not entirely sure, but they've kicked themselves once again. DMU, they still maybe 3-2 now. Might, oh no, not quite a 4-2 there as Madge will get a touch to it. But I think when you're 2 goals in the lead, you just need to play defensively. You need to make sure you're securing that lead. And whilst DMU have been certainly strong on the offense, need to make sure they're tightening up the defensive comms maybe slightly more, because otherwise they're going to throw us away.
I mean, for UOB, this is a great way to try to come back here. They're seeing the onslaught of mechanical attempts of passing plays even from DMU. And they were giving good opportunities to come back. A shot does not go in. Eventually Bean funnels it up. And that'll be the 2-goal lead back.
Yeah, you've got to feel bad for Raven. It's a scenario where you think just reverse and hit it, but I mean, if anyone's ever been in that kind of scenario before where the ball is just bouncing slowly on your goal line, it's such a stressful scenario, and it's one where certainly I've been in it before, and I've not known what to do, but it won't matter in the end, and once again, that 2-goal lead that DMU, you think they wanted to enjoy, this time it's less of a defensive error on the comms, and this time just a kickoff goal. Once again, UOB showing themselves to still be in this. 3-3 now.
Triple kickoff. Did you see that? The triple kickoff tactic from DMU. Everybody going for the ball. Maybe not quite as planned, but they are in the lead still. They're looking a bit awkward. They do look a little bit shook here after they've kind of thrown their leads multiple times. Not literally the lead, but they're making a lot closer than it should have been. And for a UOB, I said it earlier, but this is a great opportunity to try to close out the series before it goes to Game 7.
Yeah, well, Game 7 would certainly be a chance for, oh my goodness, I was going to say DMU, if went to Game 7 that momentum, that is a lovely little shot from Madge. Raven just hitting that off to the side, a great pass, Surya knows to leave it, and Madge just rockets that towards the centre of the goal. And DMU in a game that they really perhaps shouldn't have conceded as much as they have. They've thrown away a 2-goal lead multiple times, and now it really is biting them. When I say that's a chance they've also got to put it. Oh no, it's just too far to the right. And we are still tied level here, 4-4 with a minute to go.
Great opportunities coming out from both sides. EMU probably had a really good opportunity there, probably should have scored. I was going to say, here pass down mid, Maj goes high. Panic defense coming out, and it's kind of warranted. They've already been very, very effective in these passing plays. Have been UOB. Here now mechanical play as well. We have not seen this very often from UOB, but it's come out now. Madge does it all on his own, flip reset, and beats the whole defense.
Well, Madge, certainly, if anyone from UOB is the mechanical mastermind, you have to say it is certainly Madge. He's not sort of gone for every mechanical play under the sun, but he's gone for a couple this series. It's the first one I think that's properly, certainly worked out well for him. And what a time to score. Oh, surely not. Oh no, from Ducks. That might be it. That might be it for DMU in a game that surely you think they were looking to win. Madge puts a flip reset in, and then they just needed to hold on, try and get one more goal to draw it back level. They were still in it, certainly, but Ducks, that's a horrific mistake on the backboard. And she's really not going to be feeling good, because that might mean her team's out of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the amount of times, the individual case of how they could have avoided this, how many times they could have avoided this, and it's a lot, let's just say that. DMU could have avoided this in many, many, many times. Many plays could have gone very differently if they were just a little bit more cautious, if they just weren't just trying to, I don't know, play how they really wanted to, I guess. And yeah, it's cost them the series, and UOB, the deserved winners. They've really caught off guard this team. They've really passed very, very well. And in the end, they're the deserved grand finalist.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a hard one to take here for DMU, especially, they were showing themselves to be so much better sort of as we entered the second half, maybe that series. They weren't looking too strong right at the beginning, but then they were bringing it back. They were maintaining momentum. They didn't let themselves go down. They were looking good. Even in that game, there was multiple points at which they found themselves 2 goals in the lead. Then just a nice, you gotta say, a great mechanic play from Madge, but you have to say it was just a genuine horror show from Ducks right at the death of the match. And it was enough to just sort of destroy any chance that DMU had of maybe bringing it back. A close fought battle in the end, and certainly a good series, but as you said, UOB definitely the deserved winners.
Yeah, UOB, they did not bottle it. They started off well. They ended off a little bit shaky, but in the end, DMU's own mistakes gave them the opportunity to the win, and they definitely did exactly that.
Well, we will be back very shortly with the grand final of the NSE Summer Event Playoffs. It will be Lincoln versus UOB. It will be a best of 9 with 1 game in hand for Lincoln, so it's going to be a long one. It should hopefully be an intense one as well. We will be back shortly with that. You better catch it.
you, love you. I do need you. Ooh, I love you. I do need you. All I wanna do is to put my arms around you, and now these moments fall back into place. All I wanna do is to make you stop and love me. How can I be blue when you catch me in these feelings like okay. I love you, I do. I need you, I do. I love you, I do. I need you. I love you, I do. I need you. Ooh, I love you, I do. Need you. Ooh, I love you, I do. Need you, I do. I love you, I do. Need you. I love you, I do. Need you. Ooh, I love you, I do. Need you.
chances still we bleed. And when all love had been depleted, we had but no choice to concede. As the stars were dancing in their line, as though we could never run. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their line. Future we will never run. Dirt on our feet was bone dry. It was bone dry.
into the night, city lights are dancing, slowly falling apart. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling stronger, and I know I Go on, myself. I'm cold steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools. Serpents daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. I'm gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Come cold blood,
Right, welcome back to the grand final of the NSE Summer Playoffs. Just finishing up on the test lobby here between Lincoln and UOB. It will be starting very, very shortly. Should be an exciting one. It's got certainly a long one. We've got a bit of a marathon coming in. Best of 9. I think of having a game in hand, so a maximum of 8 games could possibly be played here. But obviously, of course, I'm here with Saib. Going to join for the grand finals. He has for the entirety of the tournament. So, Saib, any predictions how this is going to go? Do you want to even make a prediction, or do you want to just not even try and risk a commentator curse? Should we just go into it blind?
Predictions. Oh, I won't back down on a prediction.
I've cursed too many things. I don't risk it.
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln Park, they have gone the whole tournament unbeaten. They've also gone the whole tournament unstreamed. We've not been able to cast them whatsoever due to some outside issues. But I do think they've gone first in Swiss for a reason. I think they've not lost a series in the bracket for a reason. And they have the game in hand. I'm gonna give it to Lincoln personally.
Yeah, it's a fair bet, and it's a safe choice to be fair. Lincoln, obviously, like I said, we haven't actually seen them play, so it's difficult to judge. UOB today was certainly proven themselves to be really strong, especially in the offense. They've been able to keep up a lot of pressure against the likes of DMU. We can't really say much for Lincoln because we haven't seen them, but you know, if they've made it through the entire series and they were going through from the upper bracket into this grand final, then surely you got to think they're certainly going to be looking good.
Yeah, I mean they are looking good, and if you are able to win this, you will get your NSC jerseys. By the way, just wanna preface that. Top 2 gets a prize. Second gets £60 as well. So that's already confirmed for both teams. But yeah, now we should be getting a grand final underway soon. Here's time to go. And yeah, I mean UOB, they have had an interesting run. They faltered in the upper bracket, but they regained in the lower bracket. And they're looking much better than in the previous days, so they're going to be going into this in prime form, I think.
Well, it'll be all to play for, all to see who can take this first game, or technically second game numbers-wise, but the first game to be played here of the grand final. The UOB will be looking to take this so they can just make sure the series is tied up almost. Trying to make sure they don't have to deal with some negative momentum early off. That's now maybe early on for Lincoln. Couldn't quite make anything of it. Right now it's UOB trying to get an attack going. Raven maybe trying to put this into the middle. Bowser's up for it. Couldn't quite get a touch, but neither could Raven. Madge puts the shot on, and it's the first goal of the grand final. It's not for Lincoln Park. It's not from the team who came from the upper bracket. Bowers couldn't get a touch. Maybe expected Raven to hit it for his left. And Madge, who has been an absolute offensive titan for the entirety of today, does wonders and puts his team into the lead.
Yeah, I mean it's a crucial start for them as well. You know, whenever you got a team that has that game in hand in the grand final, the number one thing you got to do is tie up the series. You know, when it's a tie game, you feel like you can kind of, you know, start your momentum whenever you want to. But like when you start from a game down, you lose one game, and all of a sudden you're 2-0 down in the series. It can really set the tone sometimes. So that early momentum as that team kind of coming from the lower bracket will come in very, very crucially.
So yeah, maybe trying to get us going. Trying for maybe a solo play. Misty is able to get a touch to it. Prevents another UOB attack from finding its way in. Raven, 5-8 Misty to the ball. Doesn't quite have enough boost though to try and get another touch to it. Maybe something could have come of that if there was enough boost in the canister. So you're just trying to cleanse one to the middle. Gets it into the centre. Maybe a little bit of sort of worry there from UOB not wanting to push up too hard, especially now that they found this one goal. Nerves are always going to be such a vital of importance here, especially at the start of this series. I mean, you're in the grand final of this tournament, you've been playing for weeks now. You know, right at the beginning, you're going to be so nervous. Both teams surely are going to be absolutely sweating, just desperate to try and have a decent start to this series. Right now, UOB obviously have that first goal, but Lincoln certainly aren't just going out immediately. They're trying to apply as much offensive pressure as they can.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I don't think either university has won a part of the season, like a winter, spring, summer, for NSE. So I think this is a huge deal for both universities here as well. Obviously, Lincoln coming in as favourites. They've been sleeping the whole day. in the upper bracket. While meanwhile, UOB have been fighting for this chance to get here, and they've really rid it with the momentum as well. Here, Isaac has to get this one away. Raven that's to the midfield, but not quite to a teammate, inviting a bit of pressure, but the pressure wasn't too threatening in the end.
Yeah, I swear I can almost feel just a slight, just a slight tendency of UOB. They just don't want to overcommit. We had TMU overcommitting ever so slightly a couple of times in their game against UOB. Oh my goodness, and Surya's been absolutely mugged off there by Bows. Was really expecting Bows to maybe take it high, and it was looking like Bows was maybe going to flick it. And it was a bit of an awkward touch there in the end, but it works out brilliantly. It's about as low as he could have to still get it past Surya. And in the end, that will mean Lincoln find themselves tied up.
Yeah, it was a bit of an ironic situation there. The defender setting up for a play that was just going to be too much for him if he didn't pre-jump. But in the end, he had to do nothing to beat the defender there. And we're all tied up now. Lincoln getting alive now in this grand final. Bows trying to get this off the mist seat. Double commit off the backboard there. Won't match her in the end. They get away into offense now. Raven. Kind of a double whiff between the offensive player and the defensive one there. Bump coming out as well. Good play, but Surya could not get there in time. Misty on the other side. Gets this one to Isaac. Shot there as well. And Lincoln, they take the lead.
Yeah, well, it was a slower start for them. I was thinking UOB, they were doing what I said before and applying a lot of offensive pressure, but Lincoln have come into a game of their own here. They've capitalised on the fact that I think UOB were just a little bit too tentative on the offense. There was a few occasions where maybe they could have applied a bit more pressure, but they wanted to play safe, make sure they had enough men back in case of an offensive play from Lincoln. That meant they just couldn't quite apply as much pressure as perhaps they'd have liked. And Lincoln managed to deal with the fact that they conceded so early on brilliantly. They've got 2 now. It's still 2-1. It's still a game 1 that really either team can win. Chance there, maybe. For Lincoln to probably make it 3. Couldn't quite find it, though. Lincoln, coming from the upper bracket, looking strong quite now.
Yeah, they really are, and the mentality will be tested here from UOB as their early lead has been shattered very quickly here by Lincoln, as they've really grown into this first game. Surya trying to keep this into the midfield. Someone there to shoot. Yes, they are. The shot a little bit too high. Follow up here as well. Maj will shoot it again on target, and it will be the second goal for Maj as well. And that's the game tied up.
Just Maj yet again here for UOB. You wonder where UOB would be without him. Whether it's a mechanical play, a pass mid, just a nice shot as we've seen there. He has just constantly been a thorn in the side of any team that he comes up against. And right now he's really, today especially, just been an absolute saviour for UOB in that offensive third. He has put on a pressure after attack after attack, and really he is arguably the reason that UOB have got this far. And right now he might be the reason that his team can take game 1 of this grand final.
Definitely been a big difference maker. Isaac here, big clearance upfield. Raven trying to control, pushes this one away in the end. Misty going for a pinch, maybe going off to the backboard. Surya won't have too many issues there. In the end, Maj able to get this one away, and we will be heading into overtime.
Yeah, it's an overtime scenario here in what's technically game 2, but like I said, game 1 of actual play. That's going to be really, really nervous for both teams here. Both teams are going to want to start off strong shots there. Raven, you think could have maybe got a chance. Actually, might be finding his way into there. She's going to bounce in. UOB. I'm not entirely sure. Alice has found this way in. It bounces very opportunely for Raven. Bows couldn't get a touch to it. And Mitzi, who was awkward off the initial 50, could do nothing else to keep that out. UOB, they may have come into the series maybe at a disadvantage. I mean, coming that lower bracket, they started off 1 game down. It won't matter as much now, as we are technically all tied level in the series. Lincoln Park now know what they're up against, even though they have an opponent that has come from the lower bracket. They know they can't be underestimating them. So it's a strong first game from arguably both teams, but UOB come out on top.
UOB, yeah, they've cancelled out Lincoln's game advantage now. As I said earlier, very, very crucial. And now it's all about whether they can use that, use the momentum, and maybe even get a lead in the series.
Yeah, well, I mean, if UOB were able to win this game as well and take a scenario where they were winning, Lincoln would surely be then a little bit worried. I mean, you can argue, just game 1, and can argue, you know, you're just not really warmed up as much as UOB are. You're not used to playing against them. The excuse is not there as much in game 2, and immediately it's UOB who strike first. A decent kickoff, Raven able to get a touch to it. Bowers tries to mess up Surya, who just does not care. Takes it past one and slots it easily into the back of the net. 5 seconds in, the momentum carries on for UOB, and they find themselves in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a common theme here for UOB kickoffs. They have scored off a fair few in this tournament. You look at Lankers, they scored a few there. Oh my! Did the shot actually going in? I don't think there was much of a touch there from Surya. Let's look at this again. Here, big clearance. Surya, not much of a touch. Bao's not sure what was gonna come. Tried to backflip to recover, but in the end, could not cover the options.
Yeah, I think that's a scenario where you see Surya just really not... He hits the ball, but it's just not enough to actually affect it. You think Bowers must have been perhaps expecting Surya to have a more significant impact on that play, maybe expecting the ball to not go where it initially would have gone, but in the end, the tap from Surya just had no influence on the ball's trajectory at all, and I think that must have caught the defense out, at least ever so slightly. Surya trying to maybe get his third here. Couldn't quite find it, but no, I say that, Madge will find the third. What's happened to Lincoln Park? A team who have clearly done well throughout this entire tournament. We may not have seen it, but they've come from the upper bracket, and they've been clearly had to have played absolutely incredible. They've beaten the likes of DMU Foxes in that upper bracket, but right now, UOB are just pummeling them here in game 2.
They're getting absolutely destroyed here.
No.
Another free pass. Should have been another goal here. Not coming out in the end. Another shot coming in. Just about saved, but Raven is there instead to make sure they get the 4th one here. I mean, it's ironic here. Lincoln, they're called Lincoln Park, but they're the ones getting toyed with here.
Yeah, I mean, what on earth do you have to say? Lincoln just can't keep the ball out of their net. This is almost like what we saw against DMU, but arguably even more dominant for UOB. Just constant offensive pressure. And right now, they haven't even got to try and keep the ball in that blue half, at least, because they're just putting sort of the first or second opportunity onto that net. And Lincoln Park just struggling to deal with it, clearly not taking the loss in that first game all too well. They'll have to find 4 goals now to draw level in game 2.
It's gonna be pretty tough, let's just say that much. 4 goals here. It will be a good opportunity. A demo there. Ball off across the door. Eventually goes in from Bows. I mean, you got time, but you also got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, well, it'd certainly be a bit of a shift put in if Lincoln Park can bring this one back. 3 goals in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. It's certainly doable. And a team with this caliber, you think, certainly could do it. But given how UOB have seemingly been playing in comparison, you think that it might just be a little bit too much to handle. Then again, UOB haven't really been asked, their defense have been asked too much so far in this game, so we can't actually say whether they're going to be able to hold off when Lincoln finally do decide to strike. If they decide to strike, if they can strike, if they can prevent UOB from just constantly having offensive pressure of their own. Maybe they can't, maybe they'll just find themselves to constantly defend. Right now they are applying a lot of pressure, just not quite able to get that second goal yet.
I mean, the efforts look a bit desperate as well. You gotta look for a pass maybe, but looks like they're taking a very direct approach here, Lincoln. And I mean, the bottom post look to be directly vulnerable as well there. I mean, they put themselves within 2 here. So, I mean, a good amount of chances as well coming out from Lincoln. I think this comeback might just be possible.
Yeah, well, over half the game remaining. To score 2 goals to bring it level, and then you either score in regulation or you take it to overtime like we saw in game 1. It's certainly doable. A chance here for Isaac to do it. Raven with some great bit of defense there. Stayed cool, calm and collected. Didn't let that one get past him into the back of the net. Right now, it's to be vital for UOB to hold on to this 2-goal lead. They want that cushion. They want that security that being ahead by 2 goals does provide a chance to have a Bowers to deny that from them. No. Cleared out yet again by Raven. UOB holding on to this as well as they can, but Isaac's up for this one. It's an absolutely scorching double tap to bring his team back within 1. A game that we were saying is going to be absolutely a right challenge to bring this one back. But it seems to be a challenge that Lincoln Park are certainly worthy of. 2 minutes remaining now. They've brought it back to being just 1 goal between them.
They've definitely recollected themselves here, Lincoln Park. But UB technically still in the lead here. Surya trying to beat everyone, and in the end, almost Isaac, the last man back there, being able to stop Surya.
Oh!
In the end, Raven there way too quick. The ball coming into the midfield. The defense not quite quick enough. And there we go, the lead has been again increased by UOB.
Look how awkward Misty was there. Bowles, you think, probably shouldn't have had to have gone for that. Misty just pushed up a little bit too far. Couldn't end up covering that near post perhaps as much as he would have liked. A chance to have a Raven off the kickoff, but demoed quite convincingly. That's a decent little goal there from UOB. A little bit, a question has to be asked, though, of the Lincoln defense. It certainly wasn't as strong as perhaps you'd like to see. And they have been punished for it. They brought it back to 1 goal, but already UOB have that cushion yet again.
Good pass there as well, but the touch not quite high enough to get it over the defense. Isaac might just have a 1v1, a good 50 here as well. Goes for the shot, blocked by Raven. Misty keeps this in orange territory, but too close to Surya in the end. You're not quite the touch battles won it there. 1 minute remaining now. Lincoln, they still have to score 2.
Well, it's certainly, considering the gameplay they've shown so far here in Game 3, you do have to say it's certainly doable from what you've seen, and Bowles needs to put that on though, but he hasn't! How on earth would Lincoln Park not score there? That would have been vital for their chances of bringing it back in this game at the very least, but they haven't found it. Misty surely needs to try and get one on now. It's a decent hit. Bowles just can't read it off the backboard, and Lincoln Park have no one to blame but themselves now. They really should have found a 4th goal somewhere within the last 20 seconds, but they couldn't, and time is ticking away. They don't have long to find it now.
They're definitely struggling under the pressure of the deficit here in the second game of play. But here, double tap attempt. Maybe Bowles there for the shot, but it's nowhere near the target. Bowles, I think it was 3 attempts in a row, has completely failed every one of them. And UOB, they're definitely gaining the profits from it here. Another fake maybe. But again, they're just Lincoln, they can't make anything happen right now.
Yeah, their offense just isn't strong enough. I don't want to point fingers, but Bowles seems to just be a little bit unconfident on the ball. He can't quite put a shot into the back of the net. He struggled to read the backboard before. And Lincoln, they can't do anything but just take a look at themselves in the mirror and say, right, we need to change something up going into the rest of the series. If it continues how it is, UOB, despite coming from that lower bracket, are arguably looking at the favourites right now to take the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Lincoln Park, they come in here, Swiss #1 seed, right? They get the best seed going into the bracket. They've beaten everyone. They've beaten DMU. They haven't quite played UOB though in this bracket, and maybe they just were not expecting what they've come with.
Yeah, well, Lincoln Park, they're gonna have to change it up now. Obviously, it's best of 9 series here, so certainly you get a lot of chances to bring it back in a worst case scenario, but Lincoln Park won't want to put themselves in that scenario where they've got to come back from 4 down. Granted, they do have that lifeline of the first game to then as that reward for coming from the upper bracket, but right now it doesn't seem to matter. That momentum they'd have had early on just doesn't even matter to them. Oh my goodness, I was struggling there to get it out because Raven, I thought, surely would have scored that. In the end, it doesn't really matter. He won't be kicking himself too hard because Madge comes in yet again for the cleanup. Raven's shot, all the scenarios though where you see it comes off the crossbar and the post. You won't be feeling too bad about it though. It's another quick goal for UOB, and yet again they find themselves in the lead. Lincoln Park, that's not the start they would have wanted.
Yeah, game 3 of actual play. Sorry, I said game 3 of play was last game, but oh my, Misty just kind of clears it, just kind of bangs it forward very softly in the defense. I mean, I guess they're just gonna let that one roll in.
Yeah, I mean, that's uncharacteristically strange. UOB, while their offense is their strongest point, for me, their defense has proven to be strong enough to keep out a decent number of attacks. But there, whether that's just a case of miscommunication or just the lack of boost or something was clearly wrong, because they just seem to want to let that one breeze by into the back of their net.
Been a bit of an awkward game so far. Raven trying to keep this one in. Misty, bit of an awkward clear here. Madge, double commit. Nobody could quite commit in the midfield due to that. And Isaac trying to bounce, maybe get a counter attack here. Does have no boost though. In the end, UOB have been able to deal with it. Misty in defense here, a little bit awkward. Mash tries to pass it to Syria, can't quite get to it. A little bit awkward here. Isaac will collect. Try to dribble it over one. Just has to get that pass now. Goes into the midfield here. The shot comes in, beats the defense. Bowles regains the lead. Or not,
Regains the lead. They find the lead.
Gets the lead.
Yeah, I mean I think that's certainly going to be a bit of a confidence booster there for Bowles. He was clearly struggling ever so slightly, sort of in that game 3 or game 2 scenario. And you know, he had a decent number of attempts, a decent number of opportunities to maybe score. Misty actually might have a chance to put this one in. So Raven able to get back to it in the end. But yeah, Bowles, that might just be a bit of a change of pace for him. He couldn't quite find the back of the net last game, perhaps, as he would have wanted to have done. Certainly the amount of opportunities he had that were decent for scoring that he found, couldn't put them on. He's got that goal now here, though, in game 4. So I think that might just spark a difference for him. He's going to have a bit more momentum.
Ball into the midfield, Surya able to clear this one out. Gets it in dangerous spot when Misty in the end deals with it just fine. A bit of pressure, but looks like Lincoln aren't too threatened as of right now. Ball again pushed forward. Surya beats one, off to the back where they go. Maj there for the shot. Maybe a little bit of a pass, but Isaac will deal with it fine. Nobody quite in the midfield there, and wouldn't have mattered because in the end it wasn't really close to the midfield either.
Yeah, it was an opportunity there for Maj maybe to put it in, but couldn't quite find it. It was a bit too tough an angle in the end. Isaac now trying to get one going. Pitches it off the ceiling. Ravens there on the back. What to do with it? Finds Surya over in that offensive half. Finds Maj in the middle. Oh, Bowles finds himself perfectly placed in his net to make a save. It was a decent passing play there from UOB. Coming on out, showing the chemistry between the players. But in the end, Lincoln just able to hold on to this lead they found themselves.
And Maj going for the shot as well, almost in by its own. Raven is there for the rebound. And they have tied it up here. A bounce off the post into the midfield. The defense cannot deal with it. And UOB, they're performing so well. They're really riding with the momentum here as well. They had a bit of a weird game earlier on, but now they're fully back again.
Yeah, it was a nice little shot there from Raven, hitting it just above Bowles. Bowles just jumped for it, leapt for all he could to see if he could just maybe get a wheel to it or something. But in the end, Raven's shot strong enough to just about go over him whilst not flying above the bar. UOB showing a lot of resilience here. They brought it back. You know, they started the series off 1 game down. It didn't let them get to them. They ended up bringing it. They've won the first 2 series here, and even when they found themselves losing a match, they brought it back there. Nothing seems to get these players down, and they certainly are looking strong now. They've brought it back to 2-2. Can Lincoln respond?
Lincoln haven't been able to do too much earlier. We saw the mechanics come out, but then they had that response instantly from UOB, and another shot coming through. Isaac
That's open.
will just have a free clearance and open net, as you say, a vacant lot from UOB, and Isaac will make it 3-2.
Yeah, clearly UOB taking a play out of DMU Fox's book. It's a scenario that they saw quite frequently, and beforehand it was UOB capitalising on the open nets. This time it's UOB being penalised for it. They've just overcommitted slightly too much, wanting to carry the momentum through to get that third goal, but now they might be able to equalise yet again off the nice kickoff. Surya finds his way through the middle. Raven able to get a nice 50 with Bowles to just clear it. Missy maybe could have been able to get back to it if he had just a smidgen of boost. But in the end, no boost in his canister. Raven just all he had to do was just boost towards it. And that he did. Didn't miss the open net, fortunately enough for him. And yet again, this game is tied up.
And I don't like that play at all. You saw the guy cheating up, fully boosting towards the play. And then we saw the guy going for the corner boost, also boosting towards the play. I mean, something has to be going wrong in the comms off kickoff there for both of them to commit like it. If there's a back left kickoff called, they should just be going. But the midfield play was there anyways. No! Isaac will get the touch. I think
that was no goal. I think it was no goal. I swear Raven hit this. Let's have another look. That's Raven.
Oh yeah,
that's Raven.
It was not Isaac, it was Raven.
It's another dreadful scenario for UOB where they committed a little bit too much. It wasn't quite as bad as the open net previously, but Maj or Raven I think could have got up to that. In the end, Raven, whether he caught off his teammate or Maj didn't have any boosts, obviously we will yet to know. So he tried to put that on net, couldn't quite find it. And it ends up being a bit of a horror show for Raven after his team have found themselves down at multiple points in this series. They were doing excellently to bring it back. They were capitalising on any opportunity they found, but an own goal is certainly not going to be your favoured way of losing a game if you absolutely have to. 15 seconds remaining. Can he try and make up for it to put it into the middle? No boost to get a touch. 10 seconds remaining. Surya just desperately hits that central. Isaac is the only one there for it though. Just strikes it towards net. UOB, they fought hard here in game 4, but it doesn't matter. Lincoln Park find a bit of momentum. They tie up the series here to make it 2-2.
Yeah, it's been a close game, but in the end, Lincoln, they finally found their form here, and this might be a common trend as well. Look at all these presets, by the way, they look exactly the same. But Lincoln, we haven't seen much from them, but they have been dominant throughout the whole tournament, and if you allow them to start a bit of momentum, it could just be the end of you. But Lincoln, we haven't seen too much from them, so we can't assume things. They do have weaknesses, to be fair. They've kind of looked somewhat slow in this series. I feel like UOB has generally been the faster team. A lot of these goals has just been them outspeeding the opponents, getting these balls onto the backboard, and then following them up very, very well. And I mean, Lincoln Park, they've responded now, but they've got to keep going.
There's a couple of scenarios in that game where you have to say, whilst UOB, they obviously just were generally outdone in the end by Lincoln. You have to have a look at the fact that I think UOB, something as simple as just making sure you have a more, like, a stronger rotation, making sure you definitely have someone back so you're not just allowing for a defensive clearance, because 2 goals could be attributed to Lincoln Park just clearing the ball out, and the first one just goes directly in. The second one, Ravens to scramble to try and get a touch and the double tapping it into his own net. If UOB can just maybe try and play a little bit more defensively minded, just slightly, because obviously their offense is strong and need to try and capitalize on that, but if they can just make sure they have someone back in those scenarios, it would be better. Then again, Lincoln, even then, they still had a very strong game 4 there. They'll be looking to replicate it here in game 5.
I think the reason sometimes they look like they're pushing them forward a lot is because they have just been kind of outspeeding their opponents. They're trying to look for that 50 that they can just fly towards and beat the opponent, because the way they're positioned right now, they're kind of beating Lincoln a lot to those balls. But when that 50 isn't quite ideal, then you do see it go the other way for Lincoln, where they just get that free counter attack, and it's looked to go more in their favor starting from last game especially. And we'll see whether that continues to be the case or not. Raven, the big clearance here. Isaac tries to pass this down to his teammate, but looking a little bit disorganized, or Lincoln in defense. Big demo coming out potentially, was just a bump in the end. Here, ball into the midfield. Bow's able to 50 to the side. Marge able to slow this one down, but Bow's had it red.
Now, well, Lincoln, you could argue maybe now they have the momentum from a game win. Maybe if they can come into their own, maybe they can find their groove here in this grand final. UOB, it's the first bit of momentum that they've lost since the start of this best of 9. They'll be looking to rectify that shortly if they can. Raven able to hit that high. Madge able to get a touch to it here. Just one more off the wall. Bow's just waiting for it. Doesn't work out in the end. It just goes to the middle. No one from UOB perhaps expecting it. Isaac, the first responder, is into the middle of a mid-sea. It's a decent effort there from Lincoln Park. A shot just not quite asking enough questions of the UOB defense. So yeah, think this into the middle of a Raven. Oh, and the miss on the ball. You've got to at least make contact with it there. It was a great opportunity maybe to find that first goal to negate the momentum that Lincoln would have gained from that game win. But Raven just couldn't find contact.
They really good, and it was so close there. And now it might just go the other way, but UOB still pressuring here. A ball into the midfield. Bowles beats his man. Surya there on the sidewall, pass off to Ma, shot there high, the read isn't there either. Now on the other side, an early challenge from Raven there. You might have been able to say the defense too upfield there, but it was an early challenge. They were the only teammate back, and they're just about able to read the offense.
Well, neither team able to penetrate either defense as of yet as we enter the second half of game 5 here. Madge up for this one, trying to get into the middle, hits it low, maybe a little bit unexpectedly. Misses able to get a touch over to Isaac. To take this one high, gets a touch convincingly over Surya. Raven just taking advantage of the fact that maybe got a bit too far away from him. Mitzi actually finds himself in a 1v1 here. Madge, I think, must have cleared it, yes. Isaac just going to clear that one to the backboard, and he's actually got a teammate there. Mitzi off the crossbar. It was another great opportunity. A very hard to take shot there from Mitzi off the crossbar. So close to putting Lincoln into the lead, but still we're 0-0 here.
It's been a very close game here. To try to get the lead in the series, a very, very important game to kind of get the momentum going into the next few. Obviously, it's not a best of 7, so you wouldn't be on match point, but in these kind of best of 9s, it tends to be once someone gets a firm lead on the series, they seem to want to take it in the end. As it's definitely hard to regain in this sort of a very long series. But if you're able to keep it close throughout, you can definitely still win. Misty able to just kind of 50 it through. I'm not too sure what happened here exactly. Bit of pandemonium perhaps. The ball just passed midfield, Surya and Madge kind of just awkwardly there. Ends up just being a free shot.
Yeah, Bowles hit it into Madge. Certainly UOB weren't counting on that. Madge was trying to take himself away from the play. At least let's try and get back. Defend the net. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness,
Oh,
Sergius
no.
just forced that in. Oh, after the entire game, we've had over 3 minutes of just solid efforts. It remained 0-0. Finally, Lincoln found a break of a bit of luck. Bowles hitting it into Madge. And the goal able to be found. Serya off the kickoff with no boost. Just forces it in as best as he can. And manages to get it into that bottom left. Raven now might have a chance to read it off the chance. No, couldn't quite get a touch to it. Lincoln are going to be feeling really annoyed now. They worked so hard to get the first goal of this game. And then UOB, as they have before, have just immediately responded.
I mean, they can only blame themselves. Earlier, I was kind of thinking this must be a UOB thing. They score off kickoff so much. But looking at this series in particular, it's more so Lincoln just playing the kickoff really weird here. And they've kind of warranted this position.
Yeah, well, I mean, in Rocket League, it's unless you get something like lag or something like that, you can only really blame your own team for things that happen. There's a chance there for UOB to make a possibly game-winning goal. Imagine able to find the power, and though there's a chance now of Misty opting to stay away from that one, and Sergio was just tripling towards the ball, unable to get a dangerous touch to it in the end. Misty taking this one higher, game-winning chance here. Go for the flip reset. 15 seconds remaining. The ball's still in this orange half. Madge just trying to clear it out as best as we can. We might be posturing for overtime here in game 5. The ball still in the danger area. Isaac just slams that one into the middle. He can't find a teammate. No, Misty opts not to jump for it. Bounds might have just one last opportunity. Gets it past Swan. Both are up for it. Oh my goodness, Say on the back. Able to get a clearance. Isaac, he still kept it up. It's still in an orange dangerous position. Hits it into the middle for no, not quite from Misty. Got the shot off, but saved in the end. And it's still in the air, to be fair to it. Raven might be there, but no, it's finally touched the ground. There won't be a This Is Rocket League moment in this game. And we do have overtime.
We do eventually, and I'm surprised there wasn't a kickoff game. Looking at this kickoff goal, rather, looking at this game. But yeah, a lot of last second efforts there, coming out from especially Lincoln, looking perhaps like the slightly better team going into overtime. As they try to get something going here, but Madge, a big counter clearance here. Isaac able to get a touch, missed. He couldn't quite pre-jump it correctly. Bowles able to challenge, but in the end, just goes off to the corner.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the intense overtime, obviously. It's 2-2 right now. Some momentum is going to be solidly gained for either team if they win this. Bowles will try and get touched with, just get a pass. There's a little bit of awkwardness here. No one from UOB quite back, so yeah, able to clear it without too much trouble, though. Isaac tries to get to the middle, so able to deal with it well. Bowles just slams that one to the middle of the corner. Madge with a very strong clearance, making sure that one is about as far out of danger as it could have been. Into the middle there from Isaac, passing it over to Bowles. He might, if he has enough boost, go for this. Raven is unable to get a touch. Flip reset attempt here from Lincoln. Unable to get it though, whether it was just opted to leave, I don't think Bowles was able to quite get it. Hits this one into the backboard, nothing quite coming of this, and will there be tentativeness or whether it should be all-out attack from either team here will remain to be seen. Been a lot of attacks so far from Lincoln, and UOB have only been able to defend so far this overtime.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting overtime so far. You do feel like Lincoln have been the better team here. Bowles trying to get something going here. Raven double commit with Marge, but Marge able to get it away. Not a lot of boost to his name though, as UOB struggle to get it away for now. In the end, they're forced to give up another opportunity for Lincoln. Good challenge in the midfield though. Bowles taking a bit of time. That should mean UB have a bit of boost now to kind of cement themselves in this overtime. So far they have not been able to do too much. Isaac now air dribbling the other way, gets a 50 off to a teammate. Messi shoots one, blocked by Raven. Surya here trying to control, a little bit too awkward, gives it off to Maj in the end. Tries to go high here, but in the end will be a useless play as Lincoln yet again take control.
So far, I mean, it's been slightly different maybe the last 20 seconds, but UOB in this overtime, they've just been a bit constricted. They have been prevented from working on their plays. Sort of thing that they rely on, their strong offense. They haven't been able to capitalize on it at all so far. Like I said, last 20 seconds, oh my goodness, from Sergio with the flip reset. It's been a bit different. And like, sort of, since the 2-minute mark in this overtime, they were able to maybe clear the ball out and get a few more offensive chances going. But before that, Lincoln were just constantly keeping up the offense, weren't letting UOB do anything, weren't letting them have a single chance. Changing up slightly now, momentum starting to swing. Maybe this could be a chance for UOB to try and win this overtime, but so far both teams hanging on with their defense.
Here, big clearance, easily dealt with by Maj. Looks like UOB are definitely struggling to set up their offense. Here, ball into the midfield. Isaac should just be first. Gets it off to the side. Raven there tries to play it a little bit slow, and Lincoln look to be bumping each other as well. Here, big clearance coming out. Back to the blue side. Raven beat into that ball. Isaac now trying to control this. Gets a pass down the midfield. Bowser's there. Tries to get a double back. Yes, he does, but it's off target. Misty now there for the rebound. Can't quite get a good touch. Isaac has to leave it as well. Goes for the bump. He's the only one back and can't get the shot off target in the end.
My
Target,
goodness me, Lincoln, how have they not scored? That was a great bump play, and then the shot just not quite on target. UOB are going to be they're going to be sweating certainly after that. Browse maybe with a flip reset shots. Oh my goodness, Lincoln Park, how have you not scored? And the longer this overtime goes on, the more mistakes are likely to be made. You think UOB haven't been able to have much. It's all been Lincoln Park so far this overtime. You think surely this has got to go their way. As we reach the 4-minute mark now of this overtime, they have certainly had the majority of the attacks. They just haven't been able to find it. And you think the longer this goes on, they're going to get more and more frustrated, more and more likely to make a mistake. But then so are UOB.
UOB on the attack here. Amazing pass. Surya there to get the shot. They only did 2 or 3 good chances. They've been able to make them count. And UOB, they take the lead in the series.
Lincoln, you have to, even if you're a UOB fan, you've got to feel for Lincoln in that overtime, at least partially. I mean, they were just sending absolutely everything they could at the UOB bottlers, who, contrary to their name, didn't bottle it in the end. They managed to hold on for 4 minutes of almost constant peppering at their net, and yet they still managed to find victory in that overtime. And now, you know, they have once again regained the momentum here in this series. Lincoln Park are really not going to be feeling too great about themselves. A 9-minute game in this best of 9, and it doesn't go the way of the upper bracket.
Yeah, it's been a very tough series for Lincoln Park so far, only actually taking 1 game. They get that 1 game in hand to start with because of their domination throughout the tournament so far. But looking at just this series, it's been pretty much all UOB.
Yeah, well, they've certainly seemed the better team. But most points with, as we've mentioned, their speed and their offense just seems a bit too much to handle for basically any team in this tournament. It's certainly carried them through this far. So yeah, let's try and get us into a middle. Charles Raven early on, cleared out in the end by the Lincoln defense. No worry as of yet. They'll be wanting to try and find the first goal here if they can. Just once again negate that momentum that's been found. Madge. Try and clear this one out. Missy with a relatively simple hit in the end, but it won't find anything. No boost to his name. Raven only able to get as far as Bowser. Missing the shot! Saved by Madge in the end. It was trying to direct itself to that bottom corner, but Madge denies it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really challenging the defense too much either here. Ball into the midfield. Raven there puts it 1 high. Anyone there to shoot? Nobody. Maybe a lack of boost here coming out from UOB. In the end, could have been a very good opportunity to score. Here, ball again into the midfield. Surya there going for a bump.
Ooh.
Not quite there in the end. Ball into the midfield. A great pass. The shot, not so much. Bowles will have to track back here as Isaac tries to get this away into orange territory here. No, doesn't quite get the flick here, but Misty gets 1 touch. Bowles here as well, but beaten in the end.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. Lincoln Park, just they do seem to struggle with dealing with just the utter titanic pressure that people like Madge, people like Raven, and just honestly the entirety of the UOB roster seems to be quite strong on the offense. And whilst Lincoln, you know, they haven't been caught out every time, they do seem to struggle with it. It's certainly been the reason they lost these games so far. Maybe a chance for Lincoln. Need to just try and they need to score whatever opportunities they find, because their offense isn't the strongest here in this game comparatively. Misty maybe try and hit to the backboard. It's dealt with relatively easily in the end by Raven. Madge now might go for a solo play. He has got Surya there in support. Isaac's going to capitalise on that, just completely take it off him. Raven off to the side. Bowser reaches it first. Just not really that pressing though. I think, like I said, when Lincoln have this offense, need to be trying to capitalize on it more. Because right now it just seems a little desperate for them whenever they have the offense. They just sort of clang it into the backboard and hoping that might be a chance to miss. That's a good save from Madge. Passing plays may be what's needed here from Lincoln Park. Because right now it sort of feels like they're just hitting and hoping.
Yeah, no, the passing plays from UOB have just been way better. They're covering that midfield way better in offense, whereas Lincoln, very often it is just hit it forward, do a mechanical play. Not a lot of the time it's pass at mid, and that really makes the defense a lot easier as well for UOB. They don't have to cover the midfield that often because, well, it's not going there very often.
Certainly, I mean, they've been able to capitalize on the team dynamic of 3v3 much more. Madge. Oh god, I can't forget how last Bow was able to do well enough to try and keep it in the orange pressure. Madge was a bit of a defensive mistake, Raven able to get back to it in time. NSE obviously trying to get this one to the middle, but again, just a lack of just chemistry maybe here from Lincoln Park. They just keep hitting it into the middle and just hoping that maybe either a mistake from UOB or just a good... I mean, hitting it into the middle off the corner, it can work. We've seen it work before. It's not the worst strategy out there, but at this level of player, I've got to say a passing play is always going to be favourable. NSE does manage to find a hit off of Bows. Not necessarily the best of passes I've ever seen, but NSE makes it work. And that is a vital goal. Puts his team into the lead here in Game 6, with only a minute 33 remaining.
Yeah, and a kickoff here is crucial for Lincoln as they've kind of failed at them quite a bit here. Marsh trying to fake out and try to get that pass into the middle, but in the end, didn't quite make contact. Here's Surya trying to get the reset. Will maybe be a fake in the end. No. The miscommunication coming out from UOB. A good shot from Madge. Look at that. Just kind of waiting right there. The pre-jump coming out from defense. He saw it. He aimed low and scored as well.
Yeah, he took it nicely past Isaac. He saw that NSE had jumped in preparation and just said, yep, thank you very much. I'll slot that to your left. An equalisation at the right time here for UOB. Lincoln constantly having to deal with this. They've had a few moments where they found themselves in the lead in games, and UOB just always seem to respond. That's a chance now. Madge surely could have missed it, but he did. I can't believe it, Madge. A goal that could have won them this game and put them on match point in the grand final, and he's put it above the crossbar.
Yeah, it was definitely just have to score opportunity here, and if they end up losing this one, they'll definitely start feeling it.
Open.
And it'll hurt their mental. Might be a good opportunity here again. Mash puts that one middle perfectly for Surya, or Surya rather. And that's now the lead for UOB again.
A great demo there from Raven, has to be said. Made it, I even think, I mean, you can argue NSE must have been a little bit awkward. Obviously, his teammate had been taken out. I don't think he got the boost either. But even with all those factors combined, you think maybe he could have done slightly better to cover as much of the net as he possibly could. But you have to say, Raven has to be attributed nicely for that goal. A bump and a boost steal to prevent any kind of Lincoln defense, and despite the fact that we were clowning on Madge maybe for not scoring perhaps just an open net, in the end it might not matter. Oh my goodness, that's a bit of a questionable defensive play there from UOB. Doesn't quite result in anything, and as we have so little time remaining now, surely it's going to be UOB going to match point here.
10 seconds remaining. Baus is trying to get a last second effort here. Gets the pass off to the side, a little bit too far from the teammate. In the end, they can't make it work. NSE will keep it up just on 0 seconds. Isaac will try to do the same. In the end, it's gonna hit the ground. UB Bottlers, they're one game away from winning the championship.
Yeah, well, it's an outcome that maybe many wouldn't have expected that came from the lower bracket, just showing how double a win doesn't necessarily mean everything. Even if you come in with a goal, a game down, should never give up the fight. UOB are just absolutely playing to their peaks at the moment. Their offense is undeniably absolutely titanic. And right now, Lincoln, they may have been slight favourites coming into this, but they have to win the next 3 games consecutively, because if not, UOB Bottlers will win this grand final.
It's been a close affair, but UOB have been able to edge out Lincoln in the majority of these games here. If they're able to do so one more time, they will be crowned champions. Bows will try to start off this game. Good for Lincoln. Tries to get this into midfield. Was there, but a bump was there. The third couldn't quite commit to it because of it.
Yeah, well, Lincoln need to try and stop themselves from being shaky in this game. Obviously, they're going to be very nervous now, knowing that there's no coming back from a loss at this point. They've had their chances. They can't afford to to make many mistakes here. Bowers with a decent effort on there. Oh, off the crossbar! They need to be putting these efforts on target, and that's not a great hit from Isaac. Surya brings UOB one step closer to a grand final victory. Isaac was trying to pass it off to Mitzi. Fair play to him, trying to get a passing play as we've commented on, but it was not good enough. Surya with an excellent interception to put his team into the lead.
If you're last man, your passes have to be pinpoint perfect. It's just that simple. It was one man kind of just covering that midfield to see if the pass was coming through, in case the pass wasn't quite good enough. And he did so very, very well. This team has been so brilliant. UOB, their teamwork is just on another level. They're not really that mechanically just better. I would say they're mechanically worse, in fact, than Lincoln, but as a team they function so much better. They're capable of playing at a faster pace. They're just covering fields where the ball might go in defense way better, and they just beat the opponents to the ball constantly. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
And it's put the Lincoln in an awkward spot.
Oh, actually, might just be in. Actually, yeah, actually say that. Lincoln actually do
wow.
find a goal here. It's a scenario where maybe they are starting to realise they can't just slam it into the backboard and hope. But admittedly, that one's a bit awkward.
That was some hope.
Yeah, that was just Isaac going for it. Bowles gets bumped out of the way and it somehow finds its way in. I'm hoping maybe with Isaac, his interception from Surya, I mean, he was trying to pass it. A flip reset effort there from Bowles. I'm thinking at least there's hope that Lincoln aren't just slamming it into the backboard and the corner wall. Maybe they're at least trying it slightly differently, even if that goal might have been a little bit lucky.
Here, Bows just trying to get this one. A 15 to the midfield, nobody quite there. Won't matter in the end here. Isaac off to the backboard. Misty there to commit. Surya again, first to that ball, gets it all the way back to the blue half. Bows trying to take it slow, and that's asking for trouble.
Oh
The double tap
my
into
God.
the top corner. Mudge is there. The defense is just not good enough. Look at this, just taking time here. The only one back, pretty much. Your teammates coming in late, and the double tap is just immaculate.
He's been one to watch all day, has Madge, and he's just proven why. Right into that right post to slam that one home. And once again, Lincoln find themselves trailing in a game that it's an absolute must win for them. But Madge is trying to deny that hope, and as I say that, Madge doth giveth, Madge doth taketh away. He's not had a great clearance there. Hits it straight down into the opening arms of Isaac, who slams that one home. 2 minutes 53 seconds remaining. Lincoln Park equalise.
That was probably easier to not get to him than it was to actually get to it. That was just an amazing pass off to the opponent in the end there. Oh, Maj, he did so good, and then
Just threw it all away.
Just kind of throws away the goal lead just like that.
Yeah, well, he'll have to regain. He probably won't be feeling too awful about it. I mean, his team are doing exceptional in this grand final so far, and he is partly to blame for that. Raven, oh, that's a good pass to the middle. Mash was trying to make up for his error. It was dealt with in the end, though. It's a decent hit, and Raven might have to deal with it awkwardly here. Here's the last man. A good pass from Isaac. It's enough for Bowles. What a save from Matt, able to keep it out. And look at this, the passing plays are coming in from Lincoln Park. They're desperate to try and take this game if they can. They don't want to lose this one, and that was a great chance there, but an even better save from Madge.
Yeah, they're finally implementing this infield passes, but when you get pre-jump saves like that, there's not much you can do anymore. The UOB just completely on point today.
Yeah, I mean, they're just holding on brilliantly no matter what Lincoln Park send at them. Madge things off to the side, trying to get one going here. Got turned around in the process. I don't think he has any boots to try and keep it going. Isaac unable to get that pass back to Surya, but Bowles able to negate that. Raven keeping it off in. They're trying to get a simple light touch off to him, but a little bit awkward. Madge might have a chance here. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there from Lincoln Park, but in the end, Madge not expecting to have to do anything. Able to get a slight touch there. Bounces a shot on Raven. Comes in clutch, makes the save. Again, not too difficult a shot there from Bowles. He hasn't had that much of a series, it has to be said, in terms of his offense. He has had a few opportunities that I'd like to have seen him done better at, but so far he hasn't been able to.
Keep in mind, it's still 2-2. Lincoln are definitely still in this, but they're kind of trailing in momentum in total. And they do need a kind of, they just need to get the first goal here. If it goes any later, I kind of feel like if it goes to overtime, you will be able to take it. So a goal really, kind of really important very, very soon here.
I mean, a goal for either team at this point in the game will be absolutely devastating for the result of this. I mean, either team scoring. Surya puts it on, and as I say, I don't believe it. Surya will put that in. Lincoln Park, just no one going up for it. 45 seconds remaining. I'm not sure if Lincoln Park can do it. I'm not sure if they've shown themselves to be good enough to handle this UOB Bottlers team. Surya puts that one in with a nice little angle, and now Lincoln are going to be settling in with desperation because they need to score now.
UOB masterclass here, but Lincoln, do you have a response? Ball into the midfield. Maj tries to get a decent touch there. Bows. Gets it off to Isaac. 30 seconds remaining. They have to start something. Challenge in the midfield. Off to the side. Misty. Can anyone commit from Lincoln? No, they can't. Maj again. Off to a teammate. Teammate leaves it in the end. And still in blue territory here. Lincoln, they can't quite get it out very comfortably. They're very awkward, very slow. Surya again keeps it in the blue half. Raven again, another 50. Another 50 coming out as well.
Gotta be 0 seconds.
Forwards, but can they do anything? Another clearance from Maj. Can they keep it away? Can they get it on the ground? Raven here onto the side. And
it's down.
Isaac keeps it up.
So yeah, off to the side. Mitzi is there, to be fair, does keep it up. Bows needs to get a nice hit middle here. Raven with a good clearance. Isaac is there, keeps it high. Mitzi maybe could have gone for it. Madge was up for it too quickly though. Oh, late to the side, they couldn't decide who was going to go for it. Oh my goodness me, between Mitzi and Bows there. They surely could have kept it up. There was a bit of miscommunication. Neither knew who was going to go for it. They both ended up backing out. UOB came from the lower bracket. They came with a disadvantage. And all day they've been playing absolutely brilliantly. Their offense is unparalleled this tournament. Their defense was strong enough. Lincoln Park could do nothing despite having that game in hand. It won't matter to them now because UOB win the grand final.
They have just been different gravy compared to what we saw from them last week. They were kind of sluggish. They were making these exact same plays, but just didn't quite have the finishing touch that they did today. And that has been the difference between having a somewhat close series with Lancaster. Don't get me wrong, they won 4-1 in the end, but every single game was close between them up to now, where they are just dominating every single team they faced. And it's been something to watch, and they have just been the best team here in the NSE Summer Playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that genuinely just has to be what is said about UOB. What else can you say other than just well done? They played absolutely on fire, especially today. From what we've seen them, they just really played to their grade. Absolutely demolished anyone they came up against. They destroyed any defense who tried to get in their way. They came into that grand final with that one game loss, and they didn't matter to them. They just completely decimated any challenger that came at them.
Yeah, they will collect their
Their jerseys.
their UOB bottlers jerseys after winning NSE Summer, and the second place team, they still get a bit of prize pool. They do get those £60.
Fair play
for getting
to
second.
Lincoln.
Fair play to
From the upper
Lincoln.
bracket, they completely got through this entire tournament, got into the upper bracket, they just couldn't quite capitalise right at the end.
Yeah, they got number one in the Swiss stage. They went through the upper bracket in the playoffs even. They came into the grand finals favourites, but unfortunately they came not so hot into it in the end. And UOB Bottlers, they, as I said earlier, they were just different gravy today.
Yeah, well, that will be it for the NSE Summer Playoffs. It will be UOB Bottlers who are your champions, despite the fact they had to come from the lower bracket today. That'll be it from us. Obviously, I want to thank NSE for letting me and Saib cast this playoffs. It's been great fun. Every week we've come in and we've just had a lot of fun just casting these teams, seeing how this goes. It's been great. But that'll be it from us.
Yeah,
I do need you, I do love you, I do need you, I 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 do love you, I do need you, I love you, I do need you, I love you, I do